I'm Harry Cleary. I'm from Clones in County Monaghan. I have 30 years under my belt as self-employed in my own sign-making business and commercial artwork. We've done work locally and for a period of about 10 years. We took on international work in America and Germany and the UK. I studied the one-year architectural technician course, which involved several modules. The primary ones being in Autodesk CAD and Autodesk Revit and Adobe Photoshop, and then there were other modules in construction studies, communications, maths, and architecture drawing and design skills. When I came out of secondary school, I did a diploma, or what's now recognised degree level course in art and design, and I always felt that I wasn't finished, basically, that I would like to have studied some more. COVID hit and the business just completely collapsed, as many businesses did. So it was just incidental, actually, that I was looking at some material and I came across the course at Cavan Institute, and I said, well, I'll have a look at that. And so that's why I was very attracted to it, and just made the provision to actually do it. I was incredibly wary of it. I have to say I was very nervous about going back. I almost didn't do it. Was encouraged by my partner Cynthia to give it a go at least, and to at least go through the entry procedure and then make a decision later. So I think the wariness sort of disappeared on the day of the induction. I went over to the induction day, and it was just the excitement of taking on something new. I just couldn't resist it, and I have to say that, and I think it's one of the great things about Cavan Institute is that there was absolutely no notice taken of the fact that I was a mature student. I thought there would be an element of mollycoddling and thing, but there wasn't. It was just you were treated exactly the same as the other students in the course, and that really helped, because you could just put your head down and work away, and it didn't matter. And in fairness to the younger students, took no notice either. There was no issue at all. So it was really just an imagined impediment, which quickly disappeared. The original degree I did was a continuous assessment process, and I'm just a complete advocate of continuous assessment. I just think it's the fairest, most comprehensive way to learn, for the reason that, it's beneficial both to the tutor, and it's beneficial to me as a student, because I can stand back and say, well, this area needs work, I can relax a bit in this area. You get that overview all year, which an exam on a single day wouldn't give you, So I'm a huge fan of continuous assessment. Construction studies and architectural drawing were fascinating, actually. The whole getting an overview of the construction studies of the buildings you were designing was particularly helpful. And the architectural drawing was just a pleasure to do. Again, another thing I would have had my diplomas in the fine arts, painting and drawing. So technical drawing was always a thing I had a phobia about. But again, you were taken through it. You were given the basic building blocks of it, and it was just a fascinating weekly pursuit. In the business that I run, I use software very similar to Adobe Photoshop and slightly similar to CAD. The thing I found of real value was the fact that I taught myself that software in my business. So while I'm an expert in a certain say 10% of the software. I know nothing about what the functionality of it is, and the way the course was structured, it gives you the building blocks and the foundations of the software you're using. So, I mean, I would have been an advocate of telling people to just jump in with the software and learn, but not anymore, because to understand it fundamentally like that, you know, then you can go off and find out stuff for yourself. So that aspect of those key modules in Cavan Institute were very well done, I thought. You know, I really benefited from getting to know the basics and the principles of the software, you know, and that just gives you the scope to go anywhere you want in the software, you know. So, you know, I found that very beneficial over the year. We maintained portfolios all throughout the year. Like you had your practical, three-dimensional or whatever parts of your portfolio, but it was also keeping track of your digital portfolio. You know, it was you know, I learned, and I think it's incidental to the course, I learned a lot about how to organize yourself on a computer system, and how to keep files, and how to, you know, that was just one benefit that I wasn't expecting to pick up, you know. And it's an important one, you know, especially when you're creating a lot of files. At the end of the year, then the work in the portfolio, we came together basically as a class team to mount an exhibition at the college, and again, another added benefit of the course that I didn't expect to get was the process of kind of self-curating an exhibition, you know, to pick out the work that best represented what I'd done during the year, working with other people to you know, to help them and to talk and work through the process and work through, you know, asking them for advice about what they thought about. And it was a back and forth, and it was very, very rewarding. It was an intensive, you know, 8 or 9 days leading up to it to get it all together. But I think it did end up representing the breadth of work we had done through the year, you know. I found the year very challenging, so I liked that challenge. I think, you know, at a certain point in the year, I got back into a younger groove, you know what I mean, whereby I just said to myself, I don't know what particular thing brought it to mind, but I just said, you know, I'm actually enjoying this, you know, and the challenge, like, and it was especially in those key softwares, Autodesk CAD and Autodesk Revit and Adobe Photoshop. It was a challenge every day coming in, because you were just meeting stuff that completely unfamiliar, and you had to get to grips with it, you know. That challenge wasn't because I was a mature student. I think everybody was challenged by it, you know, and I think most of us, or all of us, got on top of it all by the end of the year, and that was in no small, you know, to the team of tutors and whatever that we had, you know. Very satisfied with the year. Go for it. If there's an inkling there at all, don't regret it. Go and do it. I was delighted to get the level 5 award in architectural technician at the end of the day, but it pales in insignificance to what I picked up during the year. That was the real reward.